This is the We Who Dad podcast. We salute you here with Jeremy Carroll, my co-host, and Robbie Bear, and the prestigious Neal McDonough, who, if you've seen any movies in the last 20 years as a dad, you've most definitely seen him. But he's coming out with a new film called Homestead on December 20th, this Friday. And we're just going to talk through a couple different family stuff and then talk about the film as well.
You didn't think that was coming, did you?
No, actually, I love that. Since 2020, it's kind of moved to a world where people work remote and they work with their kids. But I feel like actors have kind of been to that party for a long time. And also, actors, I feel a little bit like you guys are also kind of like going on deployment, where you'll go to a movie for a little while and then come back. And so I thought maybe you could start out the conversation on kind of talking about that work-life balance, how you do family life and you are successful in your career too, how that kind of works through.
First of all, good morning, guys, and thanks for having me on the show. Thank you. Uh, it's difficult as an actor because you don't know when and where you're going next. Going back to deployment, as you're alluding to, but we just make it work. I'm blessed because I have Reve, my wife, and she's incredible at organizing all kinds of amazing things. So when I'm away, I'm away. But there's a lot of FaceTime. But after a few days, the kids get tired of it. That's why I have a rule of 1 week max. I have to come back after a week, or else I start to get cranky, and I miss the chaos of the family. I miss just seeing Reve every day and the kids, and driving to school or seeing their practice, or we'll go into their games and all the stuff that we dads love to do, spending a whole weekend in a gym for several different games for a bunch of different kids. It's pretty awesome. And sometimes I'm coaching, sometimes I'm just watching. And I love that. That's my favorite part about my life. I love acting. I love it to death. It's the greatest job. It's the only job I've ever had. And I love it, but it's a deep second place compared to family and God. So those are the most family first, me second, God first, me second. Those are the tenets we live by. So being on the road, it can be certainly a challenge. That's why I like to have as many films as close to home as possible. But in California, that's not the case anymore. Nothing really, not so much films in California anymore, which is a shame. I was thinking the other day, and it's hard being an actor is one thing, because I can go off to do Tulsa King and say I'm there for 3 or 4 days and I'm home for a week, and there for 3 or 4 days, home in a week. So there's a lot of travel back and forth, but at least I get to come home. If you're a crew member and you live in Los Angeles and all of a sudden you have to go to Atlanta to make a living for your family, you're there 15 hours a day, 5 days a week. And on the weekends, you're so beat you can't come home. So it's much harder for crew members than it is for actors, which is why I hope that, I read I think it's Bad Monkey, Vince Vaughn's show, they gave him a $20 million tax credit to come and shoot in California. That's a great sign that there's filming going on back here in the great state of California. This is Hollywood, especially Southern California. This is where the whole movie industry started. So why is it that we give so much money to, I lived in Vancouver for 7 years. I'm filming in Atlanta. $4.1 billion went into Georgia's economy last year because of Hollywood. That's a lot of jobs. That's a lot of money. And I think if we can figure out a way to get that back into California, it would be great for everyone. But more importantly, anyone who's a dad in the film business and who's a crew member will be greatly appreciative if we can get more work back here in California, because I can't imagine what the divorce rate is in Hollywood for crew members more than actors. It must be astounding, because you're gone all the time. So please, Governor Newsom, let's get some stuff back here.
Please listen to us in some way. But yeah,
There's my biggest stump I think I've ever said about getting.
You know what though? You're so right, and we think about that a lot ourselves too. And we have a lot of friends who are on all different stages, crew or whatever. And you're right, they're out for a long time in there. Did you ever bring any of your kids to any of the sets, or do you ever kind of make that as a?
They're on every set. So Reve and we just finished our 9th project. We're about to start our 10th project, and on every show, they'll come. Luckily it'll be like around a spring break, or I'll figure something out to take them out for a few days or for a week out of school, which is hard because they have their schedules. But I make them work, Reve and I make them work the stunt department, work craft service, help out the hair and makeup people, maybe have a small two-line part in the background type of thing, get their feet wet and make them realize how hard the industry is, but also how amazing and glorious the industry can be as well. So they get to see firsthand the good and bad, how hard it is, but how great it is. And for them, they're going to Wharton Business School every time they step on one of our sets, and it's just awesome. It's
That's
really
so
awesome.
cool. Yeah, my grandfather was a famous actor in the 30s. He did about 62 movies. He was most famous for his westerns that he did. He was the first Texas Ranger. And my dad, was in the film industry too. So it's kind of an interesting thing where you're right. I think this is such a cool, unique culture, and it's such a beautiful, beautiful way to touch the world. But it's
Yeah.
also such an apprenticeship-based culture where you get to kind of walk and live and see how life is experienced. And I think that's really cool. One of the things that our audience wanted us to ask you too was, you're such a man of faith, and you've spoken about that many, many times. And I just thought maybe you could kind of speak about how that influenced how you were a father, how you led your family, how you were a husband. Maybe talk a little bit about your faith particularly. And
Well, going back to it, I think when you put him first and foremost in your life, which I did several years ago after I gave up drinking and started kind of focus on, okay, who am I? What is life about for me? What can I do to make this world a better place? And people think, well, it's kind of corny. Well, I think no, it's what we're all supposed to do. It's not supposed to be how you can make yourself better. It's how you can make everything better, especially those around you. And sometimes those people that you may think that you do not like, that you have to be neighborly and love your neighbors. And these are all great ideas to have, but unless you actually do them, they're just ideas. So by making films that give glory to him is paramount for Reve and I. And that's what we've done for the last several years now. And we just keep getting bigger and bigger, which is really kind of exciting. We're getting
amazing.
bigger.
Yeah.
I mean, we just had John Avnet,
Yeah.
who directed Fried Green Tomatoes, Up Close and Personal, all the
Wow.
Justifieds,
Yeah.
all these other amazing films, direct our last film, The Last Rodeo, which comes out
Wow.
in May.
Incredible.
And to have his, we call him the maestro. He's just a genius with a camera and storytelling. And to have Michael T. Williamson and Christopher McDonald and just like great actors, how it just builds and builds and builds. We went from a $350,000 budget to our first film, which was 5 years ago, to
Wow.
$9 million budget in our last one. I don't even know what the next one's going to be.
Wow. Amazing.
And it's just, all of our films have turned profits. All of our films have been reviewed well. And it's a great place to be in. And this all came from the idea of, I'm going to start making things with my wife for him.
Wow.
Simple.
I love that.
And
That's
as
so cool.
crazy as that may have sounded, it's we're reaching lots and lots of people.
Yeah.
And being a villain in so many films for so many years, because I had to. I couldn't play the good guy because I won't kiss a woman on screen. So what am I going to do? I'm going to be the best villain out there. And I think I kind of did it.
Yeah.
I mean, The Shift was that was pretty awesome.
Yeah.
And now I get to play the good guys and these torn, flawed good guys who at the end of the day, that's the one who's going to get the job done, who has the bravery to get through that situation. I'm so blessed that I get to have this for my career at this point in my life, that I get to work all the time and do things that I know gives glory to God. Wow.
I love that.
Yeah, that's pretty
amazing.
humbling,
Yeah.
and the higher I get, the more humble I become, because I know it has nothing to do with me. I'm just a vessel for him. And it humbles me to the core. That's for sure.
Very cool. And going back to Homestead, like, what are some of the elements of this movie in particular that drew you in, made you want to work on it?
First of all, it was Angel Studios, and having Angel around, they're incredible. They just make great films that the whole family can sit around go to the movie theater together. When do you get to do that anymore? The whole family gets to see the same movie at the same time, and it's not just a kid's film. That's an adult film that talks about adult situations, and kids can listen to it and watch and learn, and grandparents can watch and learn. Those are the films that I loved, like every Saturday night when I was a kid, or Sunday night as a kid. My family would sit down and watch The Wonderful World of Disney. And whatever movie came on, we knew was safe for the whole family to watch, and we'd watch it together and talk about it after. Well, no one's really done that since then, and Angel Studios is. So for Reve and I to be part of Angel Studios, I love it. As a dad, I know the films that I make my kids can watch. And in Homestead, playing this type of dad who has everything, and what is he prepared to do? Is he going to share with the rest of the world, or is he going to hoard everything and keep it just for his family, watching the people outside of his gates perish? That's a heavy conversation. That's a heavy film. But we get through it by talking about faith and what are you prepared to do to make the world a better place? And once that shakes you up, once that gets into your bloodstream, you just want to make the world a better place and love people more and not be so divided, not hate other people because of their color or their creed or their religious belief. We're all in this together. And if we just rooted for each other, wouldn't the world just be a much better place than where it has become? I think now it's starting to change. I just have this great feeling that families coming back, the right way of thinking is coming back, and I'm just really happy to be a filmmaker at this period where I know people want to see more material that talks about him and allows the whole family to sit around the theater and watch it together.
A big factor for dads today is like how to handle technology with their kids.
Boys, I'm a rotary phone guy. I'm like,
Yeah.
I'm so analog. It's ridiculous. My kids are like, sweet. So,
Well, like in
Reve is
Homestead-
amazing at it. She sets a lock. She sets a time. She's like, this is what you're going to do. And we have this box in our kitchen that when everyone comes home, you take your phone, you toss it in the box. You can plug it inside the box, and that thing is shut. Reve has a key. She doesn't use it very often. But she has a key, and it's like, okay, no more phone time, no more electronics. So let's
That's awesome.
actually talk about
Wow.
situations, or go outside and play some basketball, or go practice your dance, or go play some guitar. Do whatever the case
Yeah.
is.
Yeah.
We try to limit it as much as it's not. You can't limit it 100%. And what happens outside of our house, we can't control that, but we can control what happens inside our house. And that's let's talk about issues. Let's be a family, and it's worked really well for our kids so far. And my wife Reve is just she's incredible.
That's awesome. I feel like Homestead is such a great dad movie because
Oh yeah,
my wife always makes fun of me because I love apocalyptic movies. I love watching apocalyptic shows and movies, and maybe kind of like how Amish
I could
movie-
watch Apocalypse Now over and over and
Yeah.
over and over because of just the bizarre.
Yeah,
It's not a
they're-
family film.
But it just also just feels like the dude at his prime, like you as a dad, like protecting your family, and there's no other things to distract you or anything. And it just is such a cool thing. We're really excited about it coming out this Friday, December 20th. One last thing that we always like to ask is, would you be up for kind of saying, is there any holiday tradition or family tradition that you're doing this season, or you do usually, that you'd like to kind of share with people?
Well, ever since I was a kid, it was first jumping over the boards at the rink, as our rink back in Hyannis, back in Cape Cod, Massachusetts, where I'm from. It was an indoor-outdoor rink. So on Christmas Day, we'd have a game of hockey, me and my brothers.
Wow.
There's 5 of us.
Yeah.
And then one year when it was in my teens, they boarded it up all up and enclosed the whole place and made the rink really nice. So I'm like, well, what are we going to do now? And so we switched to golf. And so since I was probably 16 or 17 years old, we have to, as boys, no matter where we are on the planet, and the girls too, whomever, have to get at least 3 holes of golf in. Can be snowing, can be raining, but
Wow.
it's a rite of passage that you have to do it.
That's awesome.
And sometimes the kids, when we go out there, they'll be kicking and screaming, "My gosh, Dad, it's raining," or so where. But we do it, and we have the greatest time every year. We come back and have a great feast, and that's our Christmas, and we love it.
That's so cool.
And
Actually,
midnight mass the night before, of course.
I have one more tag on there. Is there anything you would recommend to young dads? A lot of the people listening to this have kids who are kind of in the toddler stage and the younger stage.
Oh,
Is there anything you
toddler
recommend to
stage.
them?
Let's go to the toddler stage.
Okay.
Boys, you're useless for the first year of a baby's life. They don't want you. They just want mom. They want to suckle up next to mom and smell mom and all that great stuff.
Yeah.
So here's my advice. Change every single diaper you can. Take your time. Enjoy it. Your baby will start to understand who you are with who's this goofy guy doing all these goofy voices and his strange faces and doing all kinds of fun stuff to make that kid smile. Oh, I like this guy. I kind of like this guy. He's changing my
awesome.
day. Oh, I feel better. Because if you miss that, you can't breastfeed your kids, as a guy. There are certain things that dads can't do. But
Yeah.
what we can do is change them, cuddle with them and sing them songs and be that goofy, loving dad that you can be. So boys, go out there and change as many diapers as you can.
Amazing. Hey, thank you so much. We appreciate you coming on.
You didn't think that was coming, did you?
No, actually, I love that.
That's great. Yeah.
You know, we're
And
total.
later on, when they're teenagers, God gave you 2 of these and only 1 of these, right? If you listen to your kids, you'll understand a lot more than if you tell them to do things. Listen to what they want. Listen to what they're doing. See what they're doing. See what they're looking at on their phone. See the kind of friends they're hanging out with. See what kind of classes they want. See what they want for sports or extracurricular. Listen. If you just listen, and Reve taught me this, stop talking so much, honey. Just listen to them. What? Aren't I supposed to talk all the time as a dad? No, you're not. You're supposed to listen all the time as a dad. And
That's actually great advice, because I feel like I'm super freaked out about the teenage years for sure. Like I've got little kids, and I feel pumped about being like, I'm okay with jumping off things, bopping things, building things, breaking things, But the teenage years, those freak me out. Luckily, I have a little while to get there, but I'm glad to hear that. That's actually pretty helpful in the mix.
And enjoy each stage. Enjoy them all, because they go by. My oldest son now, Morgan, he's off in college, and I can't tell you how much I miss him every single day, and it's hard.
Wow.
So you will miss that so much. Tell them you love them 20 times a day. Hug them and kiss them and do all those things that they think, oh, I don't want that, but they actually do.
Wow.
And they need it. And especially in this day and
awesome.
age, every kid needs a little extra hug and attention and 2 ears and 1 mouth.
Wow. Well, it seems like he'd be such a fun dad to have, and obviously like a very fun friend too. And, this movie Homestead seems like such kind of a total dad movie to be able to watch about the end of the world and how you can protect your family. But if you are a dad, if you are a mom wanting to know what dads are thinking, check us out on We Who Dad. We salute you. We are on Spotify and Apple Podcasts and all of the different platforms that people listen to podcasts. So please subscribe and like it so that more people get this content, and share it too with others. But this was a great kind of conversation to go through it, and I almost wish we got to talk to him longer, and hopefully next time we will.
We're supported by users like you.